Reddit, what are some of your cringiest high school stories? I wore a trench coat and a fedora all the time. Sometimes I wore headphones around my neck because I thought they made me look cool. I learned on the very last day of high school that they did not make me look cool when one of my friends said he only ate lunch with me because he thought I was going to become a school shooter and he didn't want to die. Another time I made a Harry Potter app video on YouTube and shared it with people in my school. It got sent around and a ton of teachers watched it in class. Unfortunately for them it was NSFW. Went to a party 5 hours early, oblivious. A girl is inviting everyone to a party Friday night. I live out of town a bit and not entirely sure if I can get back in for the party, so I just hang around after school. A buddy tells me he's going early because he plays sports with the girl's brother, so I should just come early to hang out. For some reason I think early is like in an hour from that point. So I head over about 5 PM to meet up. I knock. I hear come in. So I head in. I see the girl and her brother inside and I say buddy said he's coming early and said I should come over. They are like okay you'd come in and sit down if you really want to. I do. They are setting the table for dinner with their parents. Going to have a nice family dinner and then clean up for the party. They ask me to join them. I say yes because at this point I'm over my head. I eat with them, help with dishes, watch a little TV. Soon they are all good to go. The parents head out and the night goes forward like nothing weird happened. Next Monday I'm but of many jokes, but people forgot about soon enough. I was bullied a lot in junior high by jocks. One of them sat behind me in class and kept trying to slide things down the back of my pants. Finally I snapped during study time, turned around and shouted, "No, I won't go out with you. I keep telling you I'm not. Why don't you date a girl or something? Jesus Christ." I got in trouble for swearing. The words "and Jesus Christ" were swear words in 1982 Virginia, and the jock beat the out of me after school. Later in college, he came out as, though. Surprisingly I didn't have many, but one from freshman year sticks out. I was really good friends with this kid and we had sort of a friend group, but he and I were particularly close. Everyone used to ask all the time if we were a couple. I really liked Andy, but he wanted to just be friends. Cool, no problem. So it comes time for the homecoming dance, and I had talked to most people in my friend group about asking Andy. Everyone agreed it'd be fine, because we're super close and he would obviously say yes. So after school one day I go meet this friend group, where we normally met. At this point, I had truly, madly, deeply convinced myself that Andy would definitely say yes. So I ask him in front of all of our friends if he wants to go with me, and he just kinda shrugs and goes, "Nah." So I'm like, "Oh, aren't you going?" He confirms he's going. So I ask him if he is already going with someone. Nope. So finally I go, "Do you just not want to go with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, pretty much." That one still crushes the soul a bit. Worked up the courage to ask a boy out. He reluctantly said sure. I then asked if he'd want my number so he could call me sometime. He again reluctantly said sure. I then proceeded to painfully cuff my number into the back of his hand to the point of almost drawing blood because I was too embarrassed to ask for his pen because mine wasn't working. He never called. I live in a hot tropical country, but I was fat, so I tried covering it up by wearing a XXL DC hoodie everywhere I went, even under the hot sun. People would ask me why I wore a jacket. I'd say I felt cold, even though I was sweating visibly. Everybody knew why. I know that now. Completely dead silent class. I ripped aloud. I tried to play it off by saying that my mouth made the noise. Tried to emulate the actual with pretend s for about 30 seconds. After each pretend, I'd say, "No, that wasn't it. Let me try again." All while sweating nervously and shaking AI freshman year of high school. Kill me. Obligatory as this was middle school, but I'm still kept up at night by this. I sent 2 girls "will you go out with me" messages over the phone at the same time, and they were next to each other. When I was 14 I had a crush on this girl. Her younger sister told me she had a crush on me back, which was false. So me being the incredible naive kid I was, decided to ask her out. Only I did it from my mom's phone by asking my youth pastor to ask her for me. To no one's shock and my complete embarrassment, she said no. What followed was easily the most awkward few weeks of my life at school. I wore cat ears and a kimono to school like more than once. This ensemble was completed with neon fishnets, Doc Martens, and my blue Justin Bieber hair. I also wore a collar like a legit collar, not a choker. I was eating an awesome sandwich. It was so filling though, so I tossed it at the trash when I was done. But some random girl who probably has a very heated memory of this walked by and got sub-smacked. I awkwardly laughed because it was unexpected. She probably thinks I did it on purpose. My best friend decided to end the friendship in 9th grade. So I left an anonymous comment on one of her blog posts asking if she knew me because we had so much in common and would make great friends. I came on to my grade 9 geography teacher. I flirted with him constantly, pretended I didn't understand anything so I could stay behind and talk to him after class, even though I was actually gifted, and eventually got shot down really hard because he wasn't a pedophile. I once dyed my hair blonde and cried all through class because he didn't comment about whether it looked good. So embarrassing. Oh, I got one. So, freshman year I was going through some pissed all the time, behind on my homework, and had some girl issues. So, typical angsty teenage BS. I was always pretty straight edge though. I didn't drink, smoke or use. But I was having a really day that day. Anyways, a girl brought some brownies to school and TL. Doctor, I was told they were special brownies. So, hoping to take my mind off of life, and, for a while I ate a few. Not one. I ate several. What followed was me going on a goofy rampage throughout the school. I was sliding down the stairs singing A Pirate's Life for Me, tripping over my feet, laughing uncontrollably at stupid jokes. It was ridiculous. I even made friends with a girl that hated my guts. It's been nearly a decade and I'm still friends with her because of that day. Now, one of my friends found me and knew something was wrong. I was the angsty kid that always dressed in black, rarely smiled, and was just an overall pain in the. So he knew that if I was doing all of this, then something must be up. So I told him what happened, and he dragged me to the cafeteria and confronted the girl about giving me that stuff. She told him that there was nothing in them. She had been kidding and my dumb had taken her seriously. I had done all of that with nothing on my system aside from sugar. I wasn't high. I was just a dumb. When sour candies were all the rage, me and my friends would see who could hold the most in their mouth for the longest time. As someone who likes a challenge, I ended up shoveling a handful of those super sour toxic waste candies into mouth. Unfortunately, what I failed to realize is that sour stuff causes a lot of saliva production. So when my crush entered the cafeteria and made eye contact with me, I smiled, and multicolored drool literally flooded out of my mouth and slathered itself all over my t-shirt. She said to and walked away. I died a little inside that day. I was in choir all 4 years of high school. We had a pretty choir teacher, and most people only joined for the easy credit, but I joined because I wanted to sing. I had 100% enthusiasm and 0% talent. One rule our teacher repeated a lot was that we needed to be louder, and let me tell you, I took that to heart. I understand now that he was so adamant on this point, not because it was the #1 rule for singing well, but because all the students who were only there for the easy credit mumbled their way through our little performances. This led to all of our performances following the same pattern. 17 or so students mumbling, 3 or 4 actually good singers, and me yelling. You would think I would learn after the first few performances. You would think our teacher would tell me to quiet down. Or that any classmate who had to sit through those horrible assemblies would give me the heads up. But no. That's how I spent all 4 years in choir, never gaining any skill, while I yelled every song. It only finally clicked that I wasn't good when every time I asked a friend how I was, they could only reply with, well, I could hear you more than anyone. Me and a few friends made some signs on A4 pieces of paper protesting against 9/11 and Al-Qaeda, and walked around campus showing them to people. I have no idea what our aim was. I don't know who we were supposed to be showing our anger to or what we were trying to prevent, being that this was in response to 9/11. We just thought we were really cool and edgy because we dared to make signs. My junior year of high school, I was taking a class called Sci-Fi and Fantasy. Predictably, we read books of said genre. We did readers theater. Each person in the class gets assigned a character on a voluntary basis. Anytime the character says something, the assigned person would say it aloud. The teacher was the narrator, and role play was involved, if you choose to, on a couple books, one being The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. So in this chapter of the book, my character, Thorin, had maybe 1 or 2 lines, so I was bored. This was the chapter where the eagles swooped down and saved the day from the orcs. As the group was saying goodbye, I forget how the book actually goes in this part to the specifics. Please forgive me. To the eagles, my teacher stops and asks the group, anyone wanna like to do the eagle part? Gazes around the entire class and does a double take at me. I'm fairly outgoing person, especially in that class with roller playing. So I'm like F***ck it. Why not, right? And out of the silence, with zero warning to anyone, I just screamed "Ka-ah-ah," and did the best eagle screech I could do. It was pretty spectacular, especially for being very much on a whim. Everyone stops and looks at each other. Now it's dead silent. Nobody knows what to do or how to react. So my teacher pipes up after 5 seconds of pure silence, okay, does anyone wanna do the actual eagle part? Apparently they had actual lines where they say things